Good evening, Townsend Board of Health. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, and it's 6:04 p.m. I'm gonna get started with our Board of Health meeting. Let's start with the roll call.
Charles Paul Serene, Vice Chair.
Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman. Let's go ahead with the additions, deletions, any of that, Carla?
The only thing that I do not have is invoices. I
Okay,
do not have any invoices.
that's fine. Let's go with appointment hearings. 1.3
I'm gonna go grab that plan.
Bayberry Hill Road, map 17, parcel 10, lot 1, new construction.
I was just grabbing the permit and the plan, but I got my copy here.
Okay. Take it out.
This is a proposed new construction lot. It's next to number 27, so on the right of Bayberry Hill after you come on off of 13. So it's pretty far back on the lot. So the house is here. They're also proposing a 2-bedroom ADU, so it'd be a 3-bedroom main house with a 2-bedroom ADU. Doesn't really change much as far as the septic goes, because you guys already require 2 compartment tanks, which is really the only difference. So, well in the front, 2 compartment 2,500 gallon tank, and then 5 leaching trenches. It's all gravity fed. The reserve trenches are right here. It's a 2.42 acre lot, no variances, so it's a pretty straightforward pipe and stone system.
How are we doing? Sorry for being late.
I'm sorry.
Can you take a look at it, Tim, to see?
That's Bayberry Hill. Off of 13 on the
Yeah.
right. I should come off 13.
Describe this to me one more time, Rick, please.
Sure. So you got a 3-bedroom house with an attached 2-bedroom ADU. It's a 2,500 gallon 2 compartment septic tank, and then 5 leaching trenches with the reserve as a separate area.
I got it from my-
Here. It's all gravity fed and no variances are being requested.
Okay, very good. That's all the expansion area for that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve, lot 1, Bayberry Hill Road?
I make a little motion to approve lot 1, Bayberry Hill Road as drawn.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Okay. Do you have any other septic systems or anything like that?
Need a center.
That's fine. I can grab them.
Okay. So we hit on 1.4 public hearing continuation on styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
Motion to open.
Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I submit a motion to open the public hearing on the draft of the polystyrene use restriction regulations.
Okay. So we open the session, the public hearing
Jim
on,
seconded.
seconded. So we open the meeting then. It's 6:07 p.m. So I think we have here onto our consideration a draft that was reviewed by legal. I don't know if the public has any chance to read it. It's, do we have any questions or concerns about the draft that was reviewed? Rick, any feedback about that?
So I know one of the things that I had talked to Carla about was in the section 6, which is separate violations. It talks about the fines for the first, second, and third offense. And typically the regulations that you guys have passed, the first offense would be a written warning, as opposed to a $20 fine. So I know one of the things that I had suggested to her was changing it from a $20 fine to a written warning for the first offense.
Okay,
Why are you going from a $20 fine to a written warning?
It's just, it's in line with the, like, the tobacco regs are kind of the more similar, most recent one that we've done, where the first offense gets a warning, and basically they're made aware of the regulations, and then any offense after that would be a monetary fine. So it gives them an opportunity to make good without, monetarily penalizing them.
And you think that's the right way to go?
I do, at least to implement it, it gives the people an opportunity to make right without, punishing them.
Okay,
go ahead.
What would the time frame be between the warning and then what would it be, the second?
It would be $50 for the second offense. And,
But what, is there a time, like within a
Each-
week, within?
so the regs say each day constitutes a separate offense.
Oh, I.
So basically they'd have to resolve it once they receive that written warning.
So, Mr. Clerk, do you want to submit a motion to, instead of adding the first offense, as a fine, to have it, do you want to leave it as a written? Is here, is here on,
Two, right there.
have it,
Right here. That's 6, right there. See 6, and over here. It's a $20 first offense. Change it to a written warning. Instead of the $20.
I don't think a written warning is going to be as effective as a $20 first offense. Yeah, I'd like the board to assist me with that.
It is a business that's gonna be getting the fine, so it's not.
I mean, a $20 first offense is really, it's like throwing somebody a dime and saying you're okay, slap your hand and see you later, bye, but to do nothing about it whatsoever. There should be something with an enforcement value there.
are you suggesting, Mr. Clerk, that instead of having a $20 fine to be a higher fines? Is that what you're trying to?
As the Board of Health, we have to take some provisions here to make sure that we're doing the right thing to justifiably satisfy all of our citizens. And by not having something that's going to give you a little sting bite, bee sting or something. I mean, we have to do something so that we're gonna be protecting what we're doing, and that's why we're here. $20 in today's society, that's nothing.
I don't. Leave it as is, or? Oops, okay. That's what he-
Just a quick question for you. I know you just mentioned that it's on a daily basis, but if a restaurant has not complied, it's rare that somebody can order additional packaging overnight. So I would hate to see them fined again a second day. Like, I think there really shouldn't be like a few days or a week before that's checked up on again, and that they're not getting fined every day until it happens. Because, granted, with Amazon, you can order stuff overnight, but, I don't think it's fair to.
We have to have better enforcement policies.
5 years ago, we started talking about it. 90% of businesses in town already switched over. I think if we properly roll this out, I think at the end of the day, it shouldn't be a problem. We don't have too many businesses in town still using
Except those
styrofoam.
black boxes.
They're right. The majority have been using this. That's not styrofoam, right?
Yep,
Okay.
and
But
this
it's
is
not
recyclable.
recyclable, but you can't recycle it.
But it
It
says
says
here
it
on
on
the
the
back here, it has 5 pp, which this one is recyclable and microwavable.
I think the recycling committee would tell you otherwise, though, because it's black.
The
Excuse me.
black is the problem.
Black is not recyclable.
And it does say,
It may say that,
Does
but
show
it tells it it's not recyclable.
I put a ton of these in recycling. You're telling me I'm not supposed to?
Correct.
Oh, that's.
That's what I found out about my yogurt containers, because they're black on the outside.
And we're prejudiced against recycling, is that? It's black, so it can't be recycled.
You can double check with Irene, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I guess maybe check with Shaw's, because I mean, I know the numbers are all corresponding.
It
Never
is.
heard of a color, because like they'll take green plastics and stuff like that, right? So
Right.
maybe just check with Shaw's and see.
Sure.
All right, that's a
Those
good
black
idea.
containers, like with the white, the clear plastic covers, those are not recyclable.
Really?
Mhm.
Holy cow, all my recycling.
So, let me ask you this, Mr. Clerk, do you think that instead of a written warning, we head over starting with a $100 for first offense, $200 second offense, and
I mean, you're right here at 20, 50, and 100 for third offense.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go 100 for the first offense? Karen has a very good point that people are gonna need time. You are looking at phasing this whole regulation in. It's supposed to be phased in, so. Your call.
Let's approach this gingerly, so that not everybody's gonna have culture shock, and as time goes on, then we can discuss an appropriate, better options with a plan of attack to stop it.
Plus, doesn't someone actually have to file a complaint? We're not going out.
Yeah, I mean,
monitoring
they'd either
this.
be complaint based or, observations that you guys make or the inspectors make out there.
All right,
And then you have to write a ticket, which I think we have some. But it's through 21D, which is non-criminal disposition. So ultimately, they have to pay the fine, and the only way to recoup it if they don't pay it voluntarily is to bring them to court to collect it. Which isn't.
Did you say non-criminal
Yeah,
disposition?
that's what it's called under the Mass General laws. So the town adopted mass non-criminal disposition, as far as I know, because we had talked to Adam about it before. So that's what the regs reference is. This chapter 40, section 21D, which is non-criminal disposition.
for paperwork purposes. Because on day 2, it's $50. So I think we should probably go with Rick's suggestion at this point, save a lot of paperwork and chasing somebody for $20 in court instead of costing the town thousands.
Some of these regulations can get out of control quickly, some of them agree with that, Paul.
All right, so let's.
well,
It might be easier for you, Mr. Chairman, to just go through and agree to the questions and then at the end make a motion to accept the changes.
okay, I think that's a good idea.
Can I just make one more thing? So
Yep.
just to kind of clarify what the regs are doing, just so everybody understands it is, it's going to prohibit the use of styrofoam takeout containers and plates and cups if you go to a restaurant and they happen to be using it. The other part is that it's gonna prohibit the sale of what they define as food containers, so plates, cups, bowls, anything made of styrofoam that's meant to have food in it. Like a place like Family Dollar, Hannaford's, they won't be able to sell those products anymore either.
Okay, all right. But the Hannaford's in the back, whether you buy the hamburger, that's all
They'll still be
styrofoam,
able
that
to
will
use that, yeah,
be excluded. Okay, non-prepared foods.
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
So should we go ahead and approve section by section then? Or,
Well, Rick, I don't know, did you have questions for every section or you?
No, that was, I had read through the whole thing and I think we all have kind of
Yeah.
a few times, and these were the changes that council came back with, I believe.
Absolutely.
And so I think more than anything, it just kind of cleaned up language, she reformatted it. But the majority of it is still very similar to what we had originally looked at. And so, the only comments I had were just kind of to clarify what the regulations were gonna do as far as what it was gonna regulate. And then the other part was just the fine comment, but besides that, I really didn't have any issues with it because it was still essentially the same set of regulations that we had originally looked at.
And the effective date is effective, 12 months following the effective date of the bylaw allowed by time for the restaurants and retail food establishments to use their existing inventory of expanded polystyrene food or beverages containers and to convert to alternative materials. So it's not something that's,
No.
not, section 9. So,
Yeah, and that should actually say regulation instead of bylaw.
I can get these changes made up if you'd like to continue the hearing or possibly close it at this time if there's no more public comment.
I think we have here what the changes, I mean, start with instead of starting with a $20 fine, start up with a written warning and then move ahead with a $50 offense then, and then, to the $100 offense. And on section 9, which it says instead of bylaws, this regulations would take effect in 12 months, and I think that's a reasonable time for the establishments to,
Use up their inventory.
yep,
All right.
yes.
Sally did just pull up on her phone that the black clamshells are not recyclable in Massachusetts. So if you can add something into that, so places in town will not continue using the black because we're still gonna have to throw those in the trash.
And Irene had pointed out earlier that there's a site, recyclesmartma.org,
Yeah.
and people can go there and check to see what they're ordering is appropriate.
This really isn't the place to have, marketing, it's a regulation. So that's more dependent upon the, communication with the town and the education of the residents, letting them know that it's on the website, advertising it in an annual letter, but I don't think that it would be appropriate to put that in, Rick, would it?
I mean, the only thing you'd have to do is you'd have to, revise these regs, and not only would you be prohibiting use of styrofoam containers, but you would be requiring recycling containers that are recyclable or compostable. So you'd have to, you'd be writing in a new section of the regulation at that point.
Okay, I think it's a better way to go, to educate the public about the black clamshell being
Okay.
not recyclable than to put it in.
Yeah, because I know like, the
Just seems
original
like it's-
intent of the regulations was to get rid of styrofoam. Obviously the goal would be to have them use something that's either compostable or recyclable. But if that's not what the board wanted these particular regulations to do, then,
Mr.
education
Chairman,
would
it's
be
a
more
question.
appropriate.
Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Chris, when you go into this aspect of not having any more of these plastic, non-recyclable containers, we're going now to I'm not sure what they call it, but it's a compressed cardboard.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
And that's where we're going with all this stuff at this time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So I know Carla had thought that that's what you were talking about, because you had said that it was black, but that one's obviously plastic. And so, like I said, if you guys wanted to kind of change the intent of these regulations and to require to use compostable or recyclable containers, you could do that. But it would be an entirely new section of the regs that we'd have to kind of create and go to town council to review. So if that's what you want to do, it's fine, but it probably means continuing the hearing for now until we can put that language together and have council review it.
I was recently over in West Fitchburg at SS Lobster, and they have this compressed cardboard container now that fitting to go stuff out with, and it's very impressive. Because it's 100% biodegradable, it's all real thick cardboard, and it's nice looking stuff.
Do we have somebody from the community via Zoom that wants to comment?
No.
So what I'm hearing is that I propose to give it some more time, postpone this hearing and
Continue.
continue it and to see where can we add that other part of the language here. We have two parts, but the specifics, because I don't wanna, I don't want us as a board to approve it and go back
No.
and review. I just wanna have it something complete that we don't have to be back and forth of something. I just wanna approve something that is complete and what the public wants to.
I agree with that, Chris. I mean, yeah, and these biodegradables, cardboard containers are extremely good. And they just biodegrade, they're nice. I've seen them. Good call.
Yeah, so, yeah, I guess if that's what you wanna do, you're probably rewriting the name of the regulation. Cause now you're kind of more talking about, what you'd like to see places use as far as materials. So it's not just a ban on styrofoam, it's a ban on any non-recyclable material for a takeout container.
Yeah,
Wouldn't this be better though, Rick, in the recycling regulations that we're looking at in the next agenda item? Wouldn't it be
So
better?
it wouldn't prohibit their use, it would just prohibit where they go in the waste stream, because that's really what those regs talk about.
Okay.
So, if the intent was to try to get all the, really restaurants is what you're really talking about to use, recyclable or compostable containers, then you're not talking about a prohibition on styrofoam, you're talking about, completely different set of regs.
Can we have Irene to come to our next meeting and clarify a little bit more about this?
Sure.
Just here, so.
And she was just here.
Yeah.
I think we should invite Irene so that she can give us some more clarity and, before we formally as a board approve. I thought it was a few things, but it's kind of a more complex situation, so, I propose to, I don't know if our board is in agreement with that, or.
Mr. Chair, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a ride over to West Pittsburgh, grab one of those containers from that set, bring it in and show it to the board.
Are you able to bring?
This meeting, Jeff.
I was supposed to do this meeting, I'm sorry, I messed up. I've made several mistakes in my life and there's another one, so.
So are you continuing?
Lady Carla can remind me to do
Continue
that.
it to the next meeting.
Yes,
Let's do that. We'll continue it, we'll look into it, and I'd love to get feedback of some of
Yeah,
the restaurant owners, because this is,
Gonna be crazy.
it's gonna be crazy, I'd like
Thousand
to get
House
their
uses
feedback.
these and these, so there's.
Cause that's totally,
You need a motion to continue the hearing.
okay, I have a motion to close the hearing.
no, motion to continue
The hearing in our
next
next, in our next
I
meeting.
call a motion to continue the meeting. This, polystyrene restriction, to the next meeting.
Who seconds it?
I gotta,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Close at 6:27 PM.
Okay.
And we go to 1.6, public hearing on continuation on, conclusion on first and second generation rodent sites. That doesn't make a motion, right?
No, it was just a discussion. So Rick had drafted a beautiful letter that you had asked him to read. It is in your packages if you'd like to
I'm
review it.
looking at that
And
now.
I'm sure that Rick could answer any questions. So it's like he did a beautiful job drafting it.
It's the very next one, yeah, right here. So. And of course. Second page is the draft. Okay.
Yeah.
Very powerful letter. Good
Yeah.
job. Wow.
Air's already done this?
Air apparently voted on it, I believe on Tuesday last week.
Okay,
I have a draft of the policy. I don't know if you have.
They're
it.
looking
yeah,
at it right
yes,
now.
yeah.
And so the policy that Air passed, it only addresses second generation rodenticides. So we kind of just followed along with that. And then I talked to Jennifer about trying to maybe get some more information on the first generation. And then we could submit a separate letter for that, but this policy just covers second generation
Okay,
rodenticides.
all right. Do they even make the first generation anymore? Usually,
Believe so, right? So the second generation came along because of like immunities, basically.
Okay, Rick, what's
It's.
SGARs, what's that?
Second generation anticoagulant rodenticides.
Okay,
But first generation are still anticoagulants
okay,
and it's just second generation, from my understanding, is just much stronger
okay,
and can bioaccumulate in the
Okay.
rodents.
all right,
And it sometimes can take I've read 3 to 8 or 9 days for rodents to die while they're eating and accumulating the rodenticide in their systems.
okay. And then it ends up in water for 392 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's, wow,
And as we agree as board, this is the letter that we're gonna attach with yours, if I believe, correct?
The Harvard study, did you want the Harvard study to be?
Yeah, so it
attached?
references the Harvard petition and then the policy that Air adopted. And I think
Okay.
there's several other towns that adopted it as well.
Okay,
all right,
I have the air, I didn't attach it because it's about 70 pages double-sided. So you do have it in your emails if you'd like to read it. I have
70
it
pages,
here.
double-sided.
The
Yeah,
the
140.
petition from the Harvard Law School.
140 pages.
Well, it's also this, the listing is all the scientific information and
Okay.
backup that was collected. So if you go through who knows how long it would take to really thoroughly
Yeah.
read it. But I
I'm sorry,
wonder,
57 double-sided.
Oh,
I wonder if a copy of that should go
You think so?
along to the selectmen.
So yeah.
It is gonna go
Yeah.
along with the
Oh,
board,
okay,
and that's
it will
what
be
that's what we're saying.
Yes, that's what we agreed on in our previous meeting to present this letter to the Board of Selectmen, to the Select Board. I don't see it here to provide a timeline for the board to respond, but I assume that if we as board approve this letter to have it hand over to the select board, we would probably wait for the next Board of Health meeting to see if we get any response from the Board of Selectmen or.
Rick, do you wanna edit it,
So,
saying
yeah, I
that
mean,
you'd
if you
like to
wanna-
have input before our next
Because
meeting?
If you want to put that in, then yeah, I can revise it. to
Because the
include that.
thing is that I don't want this to just go and stay on the desk, and I just wanted to give a time frame because I think that we should consider this seriously and have an official response from our select board about this. So, yes,
Well, I'm just wondering, don't the selectmen meet on Tuesday nights also? So they wouldn't see it till next Tuesday and you'll be meeting, so you wouldn't get it till the following Tuesday, is that?
are we opposite weeks or are they the same?
So it would be,
They're a little changed
2
right
weeks.
now, but it would probably be a good idea to give them a month then if they overlap. Rick and I could probably look at it
Yeah,
and see what their schedule is,
5/27 would be the date on.
by 5/27.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could put in there by 5/27, a written response would be needed.
Right.
but other than that, should we proceed approving this draft?
All to approve it, I'd like to add the first generation,
Okay,
if possible. That's my
Mhm,
opinion.
That's gonna take some
Okay.
time.
That is,
You won't be able to get this letter up to them by.
then let's start somewhere with this. Rich said they're gonna add a page over in air, so we could add a page.
Well, I don't know if air is, so the air one only addresses second generation, and most of the studies talk specifically about second generation anticoagulants.
Okay,
So that's kind of what it was, because the supporting documents really specifically address that. So what I had talked to Jennifer about was if she can get more information together about first generation rodenticides, we could write a similar letter and attach the supporting documents to that and ask that that policy be adopted by the town as
so
well.
then we could,
Some communities have done both, and then some have done second, and then, as Rick said,
Okay.
to first.
So that can
So
give
that
time
makes good.
then to add what you're requesting, right?
let's start with
Mr. Vice
trying to
Chair?
get it through. Let's get this up to the,
Rick will have
Select
to
board.
revise it to have the deadline of 5/27, and we
Yeah.
can, if you like, you could make a motion for Rick to sign the letter out of meeting. So it could be expedited enough by probably in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to get it to them tomorrow.
okay,
Okay,
Can I get a motion on having Rick, signing the letter after adding, the time frame that we're requesting so that it can get to the Board of Selectmen, in a promptly manner?
I propose, we do what you just said.
Yeah, so moved.
So moved and I seconded it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
great.
Okay, 1.7, J.W. Shaw and Son, nope.
No, I think you're missing the solid waste and recycling.
Oh, 1.6, that's right, public hearing on continuation of solid waste and recycling regulations revision 1.
So before you, you have in your package right here, recycling and solid waste regulations. They were adopted in 2019, I believe. Yes, August 26th of 2019, and what you'd like to replace, which we obviously have the effective date of April 8th, but we can change that. So it's just regular typographical cleanup. We don't have a color copy, so if you go to page 4. One of the reasons why this is here is on section 3 is the current regulation says the trash is regulated at 164 gallon tote or 32 gallons toters of your choice, and that's no longer a requirement because we don't require toters of any kind right now. So that needs to be deleted. You should also add in there cardboard must be broken down into pieces no larger than 2 feet by 2 feet. It's been an unwritten regulation. It goes out in the annual letters years ago, but nothing has really been communicated, and we're seeing a lot more of it now these days. A lot of big boxes of cardboard. Shaws cannot pick them up if they're too big. They have to break them down.
Okay.
So, and then under section 5, there is the Board of Health also has the authority and its voted agent to stop curbside trash and recycling to residents who are not complying with these regulations after a first written offense is sent. Because as you were just talking about with the regulations for the fines for the styrofoam, it's much easier to suspend someone's curbside trash and recycling and then go after a $50 or $20 fine, that they have it's so much easier, trust me. The phone rings when the trash is not picked up. And when you tell them why, 95% of them comply immediately. I'm so sorry, I'll fix it.
Okay,
So that would be a much more friendly approach,
okay.
okay?
And who's gonna make that decision? The driver of the truck? When they pull up, the Shaw, we're gonna.
They absolutely should be, and then they should be letting us know that they did not pick up the trash because it was contaminated with recycling or vice versa, the recycling was contaminated with trash.
Okay,
A lot of people will call me, I'll see things.
yeah,
But you have, the Board of Health, it has the authority and it's voted agent, so if you wanted to vote to have Rick and myself agents as well as yourself, so if we were driving by and we saw it, I don't know if I really need one where I was the municipal recycling enforcement coordinator. It's kind of played into my role, which I usually do. If I see any violations, we send out notices.
okay,
It only comes to you if it's a problem and Rick and I can't find a solution.
All right.
The other non-criminal disposition, going back to how difficult that is on page 4, again, section 1 of 1.2.4, add the letter will also state curbside trash and recycling could be suspended. It's very important that they understand that that is, again, with section 2, a warning that the next offense will result in a fine and the suspension of a curbside. Really need to get through to them that you don't want to fine them, you want them to comply with the trash and recycling.
All right.
And then the third time, your last page, the third time a person is found to be non-compliant, the Board of Health may impose $100 fine for each non-compliant bag each day, add and suspension of curbside trash and recycling until the error is fixed. Because at that point, you need to let them know that you've exhausted all options.
How are you going to enforce that?
You will. The people call in, the people call in, I see them. You guys see them, the town employees see them, Rick sees them, the DEP sees them. There's many eyes that are around that will report something.
Okay.
Well, somebody has to go and,
The Board of Health or its agents has to physically go and just like Rick is the only person as a sanitarian that when there's a tenant violation, the Board of Health members can't go in, I myself can't go in, Rick is the only sanitarian that can go in to do the inspection, correct?
For housing, I could, or any of the board members could. For food, you have to have,
a sanitarian.
you have to have a food safety certificate
Okay,
and be an agent of the board, obviously. But for housing, at this point, it might change, but anybody could do them,
okay,
as long as
okay,
they're,
good enough,
one of those three are me.
good enough. Okay. So you've got people.
Can I get a motion to approve, to adopt recycling and solid waste regulations?
I'm brain fart.
So
I'm
moved.
saying nominate in my head, I'm saying it wrong.
Adopt,
So moved.
So moved.
so
I-
moved, okay.
I
Thank you.
adopt. Yeah. I adopt the recycling and the solid waste regulation.
Seconds it?
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'd just like to amend that, please, that the effective date here says April 8th. I will be bringing this back to the next meeting, which I believe is scheduled for 5/13. So it would probably be a good idea to have this effective June 30th.
Okay.
And I probably would get it all marked up and have Adam or whoever from MTC take a look at it.
Absolutely, one more legal request.
And we're
okay?
gonna talk to Shaw about this situation here because
Yes.
these containers say recyclable.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, 'cause I know
restaurants
all
are
the-
using it because it says
The
recyclable.
number and the triangle that corresponds, so you can look it up on that, whatever that website is that they gave.
Yeah,
And it'll
And it-
tell you whether it's truly recyclable or not.
And it said it wasn't.
But some stuff that
Number
does
5
have
is not
the
recyclable.
triangle with it, they're not recyclable.
They just showed it to us.
All right.
Okay, so you've got a date of June 30th?
Yep.
For this, and you're making a motion to close the public hearing now?
Yes, can I get a motion to close the public hearing on solid waste and recycling regulations revision 1?
I make a motion to close the recycling Division 1 regulations.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Closed. Okay.
We'll
Excuse
have
me.
those ready for you to be signed at the next meeting.
And we have, JGW Shaw and Sons contract
See you Thursday.
proposals.
Yep, and I'll get that letter to you tomorrow.
Any,
Out of here, Rick?
Yep, I am. Good night, have a good one.
any updates?
Absolutely none.
Okay,
I think we're waiting on the election to see if the override passes. I see quite a few people supporting the override now.
There are a few signs out.
Yeah.
and from my understanding was presented to the meeting with about the override was that Irene was proposing to the community to move forward the Board of Health's recommendation on the contract and even the stipend that was added in case the override doesn't move forward, so, but I don't have any other, we don't have any other updates. Okay, okay. Let's go ahead and move 1.8, well repair proposal for lagoons review for town council.
I did get town council's information. They just have a couple of little things that they'd like clarified. I don't think that they like the insurance that they have. They want the insurance raised a little bit. They want to make sure that Brian, I can't remember his last name, who was authorized as the contract signature was actually a legal contract signature. So good things. They said that the contract looked great, but it does need a few things. So if you could continue it to the next hearing or the next meeting.
Let's
I'm
continue
sure
to the
that
next
we'll
meeting.
have all the information by then.
We'll continue to the next meeting then. Okay, we don't have any invoices today.
Not, but you have minutes
Minutes.
of September 2024 and March 25th of 2025.
You wanna use mine?
Okay,
Sign
so
it?
you all have them. All I need is one signature, so I just want you to read them. Make sure that you're all in agreement with them.
You need everything signed in the back of the pallet?
You want, that'd be fine.
What's today's date?
Today is the 22nd.
Second,
Oh, that,
no, not that, it's the minutes.
the minutes we're signing, so you put
Oh,
your
okay.
signature on the minutes.
I'm sorry.
That there, we don't wanna sign that yet, that has to go back to legal,
Okay,
so here, put two signatures.
that's why I'm asking. Remember, I'm all done, guys.
Well, you're still doing pretty good, so.
I don't have much of an update on Earth Day right now. It is Saturday, got a lot of people, I think it will be good. The recycling committee will have a booth, so I think if you wanted to come squat it, they're both Christian. Because the Board of Health doesn't have an official booth at Earth Day, but
Okay.
you do have the recycling committee, which actually advocates for.
Yeah, that's gonna be on Saturday,
That is from Saturday, yes.
Saturday,
That's at the high school.
It is at the
at
high
the
school.
high school, what time?
I believe it's 10 to 2, but I will send you, or 10 to 3, 10 to 3.
Okay.
Okay,
Very good event, very good event.
Second,
And then the townwide cleanup is going very well. I do have locked in some correction workers to come, but they can't come during the cleanup. They're gonna be here April 30th and May 1st.
okay,
So I was working with the recycling committee about where do you think they need to go? Because you talked about them being on busy streets in areas where we don't want the young children. And I've been polling people and benchmarking as we've waited these 2 weeks, and a big consensus is over by the high school to the harbor where all the kids get out of and they walk down. They said it's horrendous there. And then you've got the waterway right by Edward Road where there's all that trash that goes in there that we cleaned out 3 or 4 years ago, and now it's back. So there's that area, and then there's also an area, and I went down to buy it twice, and both of you two, Christian and Jim, can help me, because I thought that there was an area by 130 Fitchburg Road. Well, I know there was, where the trash fell out all over the place, but it looks like it's fairly cleaned up. And that's a very busy road too. So not that I want any harm to come to the state workers, but I feel that it would be much better, as you agree.
they would probably have the car that they rode in out with the flashing lights.
They
and
want
all
they
that.
want a map from me So, once I get from Irene what happened today in the recycling committee, by this time tomorrow, we'll pretty much have it worked out.
All
I
right,
can send them a map, I'll meet them, I figured I'd meet them right at the Cherry Hill parking lot. And say, let's start here to the
Okay.
high school.
all right.
And then there was a couple of other areas, but I wanna see the map in the library and see where the people have signed up.
Yes, because we were gonna select,
This week.
Friday, we were gonna select one area. What do we think, I mean, here
Start at my
nearby,
house and end at Eve's.
Is there a plan in that,
That's
Zach?
a plan.
well, it's,
That's an excellent idea, it's a great area.
You gotta
It's
invite
great
Paula
that-
for that one.
All right,
That's on Friday?
yeah, Friday.
from 9 to
I have
10.
Meals on Wheels and the VFW, I'm baking for the bake sale for Earth Day for me.
Oh.
Because I'm a VFW auxiliary member.
Oh, wow.
So, and the Meals on Wheels is important to me to support the people in town that need that, so
Okay.
I do have 2 events that I have to come for.
So honestly, where are we board members, can we do our cleaning? Because I already reserved from 9 to 10 my time to do the cleanup, so I don't know which, I mean, around nearby here, I mean, I don't know.
Feel comfortable going around your house? I mean, you're right on Route 13.
You're right on Route 13, you and Jim both. So we could do
We can
something
do-
up there. I'm joking
Yeah.
about the East thing, but we could drive to East after, so.
So we can do something then on Road 13 then, but we have to
Alright.
decide which part of Road 13 then.
It's funny, as I go down the road, there's trash on both sides.
Okay, so
So-
what we need to do is we need to go look at the library tomorrow and
Okay,
find out who signed up for Route 13. Because you guys could decide on an area that somebody's already signed up for.
this weekend I took my kids and we went, that loop across the street from my house there, over the Spalding School.
Oh, yeah,
We went around, filled
Yeah.
4 bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually 5, but one really was.
Another
Make sure
area
that's-
that I was thinking of that's notoriously bad, but it's not so bad, that we would require the state workers. I'm hoping because, a lot of people always do sign up, is on Proctor Road behind the high school.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's bad.
a huge amount of aerosol cans.
That's weird. Is it the kids using the aerosol cans? What would you get out of an aerosol can?
Same thing when you were a kid, you got out of a helium, when you used to Google helium. Hello, welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order?
Okay,
I don't know for sure, but, it's definitely, and it's been an issue for quite some time,
it has.
Quite some
Very
time.
interesting.
quite some time.
Maybe we should put recycling barrels on that road for the kids to put them in, because they're all recycling.
So will you let us know which part of Route
Absolutely.
13 then, so that we can
Absolutely.
decide,
I'm
at
gonna be
least
down-
via email, we have to decide which part of Route 13 that we can do then.
I have, the vests, I held 10 vests and 10 grabbers for the workers
Okay.
to have
Okay.
on, so. the people
We have
can
our, at least I have my
Yeah.
see. They
vest.
might have their own,
Okay, that's possible.
but I wanted to make sure that they had something that was very colorful.
Okay. What do we do with those, like the 4 bags I got? I was gonna put them out today with the trash. but I
You just leave it right outside your house, just like with your purple bags and your
You
recycling.
just leave it with that?
Yep,
Okay.
and Shaw's knows to come pick it up.
Okay.
I don't have the bags.
No,
We'll
just,
have to get
I'm just
some-
use black, I just use black bags.
Oh, we
Oh,
can use,
no, you need the green bags.
that's the
Hey,
thing.
I put it in black bags, so oops.
Well,
So I'll get rid
okay,
of
well,
it. I-
no, just
get
get
it.
a green bag and put the green bag, put it in the green
Inside of the
bag.
green bag.
Cause they won't pick it up
They
unless,
won't, okay.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah, they'll see it as green.
Okay,
Okay, and I've got plenty of them in my office.
alright.
Any other comments?
I wanna remind everybody that I'm all done, I'm resigning.
We looked at the minutes, Jim, we saw it, you reminded us on March 25th.
I'm sorry, Carl,
When do you officially, do you wanna wait until
He's waiting till after the
Tuesday,
election.
after the election, or do you wanna do it before, just?
He-
but I'll wait for the election.
He
after the
said he
election?
was doing it after the election, and he said that if the board of, until the board of selectmen appoints someone, that he would stay on until another person was on.
Okay.
You know too much, Carl.
Okay, listen,
That's right, that's right.
1.12, reminder Marlboro AMADP seminar, 5
for you and I
p.m.
didn't
from 9
know
to
if you
4.
wanted to go, I don't know if we can still get you
What is
in.
it?
It's a DEP seminar, which is all about what the Board of Health rules are. It's a really good, what can you do and what you can't do
Very
seminar.
educational,
You guys
And,
very educational.
and if we can get you in, I'd love for you to go.
When is the date?
But the
Because
thing
That's a
is
Saturday.
it's May tenth. So is that after the election? Is that why we didn't sign you up? Because we didn't know if you were gonna be on the board or not?
All
That's
right,
probably why we were waiting.
okay.
But the Neshoba Board of Health is paying for the seminar for us. And
So-
so many people have signed up that they actually have a block of rooms at the Holiday Inn now.
They are very informational, instructional, and excellent to
Yeah,
attend.
Rick and Jim and I used to go to them years ago.
Yes.
Remember,
Yes, I don't
years
remember,
ago?
I went to so many, but
Oh,
I'll
you
tell
could
you,
go in.
I never came home disappointed after one
Yeah,
of those
And you'd
seminars.
all sit and everybody would have the different towns on, so it would be really interesting. You'd sit with a huge table with like 12 people and it would be like, where are you from? Well, I'm from Franklin, I'm from Marlboro. And
Yeah.
you'd really be able to talk to people and get a feel of what
The
the other
wealth of
local boards
knowledge
of
is
health
incredible.
have to deal with.
Not only that.
If I could get signed up, I will go.
Okay,
But if, it's up in the air, and if Todd gets in, then he'll go in my place.
well, that's what I kind of wanted to do, is see if I could I'll talk to Jim Murphy tomorrow about that. And see if I can get
Well,
one more
put the name
person in
down as
there.
Charles Todd Serene, what's Todd's last name?
Melanson.
Melanson. So you can just cross 2 out on the name tag. It's perfect.
We have 1.13 next meeting on 5/13. We're gonna talk about the fees in tobacco and recycling
Oh, it's
center,
Arsenal, actually, sorry.
summer schedule. Anything else before we adjourn the meeting?
Fees for tobacco.
Oh, I'm tired, I make a motion to adjourn.
I
And
second that motion.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And meeting adjourned at 6:55 PM.